Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Saurabh, and this is my YouTube channel, Data Science Novice. So, if you are new to my YouTube channel, please do like and subscribe. Your efforts are massively appreciated. So, in the last video, we talked about batch normalization and data augmentation. And later on, we see that how we can improve the model accuracy using these techniques. So in this video, we are going to learn a few things like what is transfer learning, what is VGG network, and then we will implement transfer learning using VGG network in TensorFlow. So what is transfer learning? So in transfer learning, the knowledge of already trained machine learning model is applied to a different but related problem. And here knowledge means the trained weight of the model. For example, if you train a simple classifier to predict whether an image has a cat or dog, we could use the knowledge of that model gained during its training to recognize other animals. The general idea is to use the knowledge a model has learned from a task with lots of available label training data in a new task that does not have much data. Because we know that in deep learning, we still face two problems. First, the computational time, and second, we have unavailability of labeled data. So instead of trying the learning process from the scratch, we start with pattern learned from solving a related task. And hence we almost able to solve these two problems. In general, pre-trained weights perform better than the one where we have to train the model from the scratch. So it's an optimization that allow rapid progress or improved performance when modeling the second task. So let's understand this using an example. So here we have CNN. It has first convolutional layer, then batch normalization layer, and then activation layer. And this block is repeated 4 times, followed by 3 fully connected layers. And this network is able to classify the images into 5 categories. Let's change the situation, and now we have 5 new categories of images in the same data set. So now we have to classify 10 categories instead of 5. So one thing we can do is to train the whole network again, and this will take a lot of time since amount of data has increased and we are training from the scratch. Next we can use the transfer learning and this will be more efficient. So let's see how do we do that. We can always think our network having two parts, head and body. So what we can do is replace the head, or in this case softmax layer. So instead here we use softmax layer with 10 neurons to classify 10 images and train the network, but this time freezing the pre-trained weights. And if we don't freeze the weights, then the whole purpose of transfer learning is defeated, because then it will be like training from the scratch. And in the practical section we will see that how to freeze the weights or layers. So in nutshell, it's like chopping the head and replacing it with newly created head. Next, I would like to talk about flexibility in transfer learning. Not only we can add layers, we can change the network architecture according to our needs. For example, I can divide the network like this. So now we have redefined the head of the network, and according to that, we can change the head now. So earlier we had 3 fully connected layer and a softmax function with 5 neurons. Now we have fully connected layer and a softmax layer with 10 neurons. Why this is possible? Because modern deep neural network exhibit a curious phenomena. When trained on images, they all tend to learn first layer features that resembles either Gabor filters or color blobs. On the other hand, feature computed by the last layer of a trained network must depend greatly on the chosen dataset and task. So we can say that if the first layer features are general and last layer features are specific, then there must be a transition from general to specific somewhere in the network. So to understand this thing, we can take the example of Indian education system. From class 1 to class 10, we are taught the same subject. There is no distinction between science students or art students. So in the context of transfer learning, it is called general, where everyone is taught same thing or every feature to some layer is same no matter what is the network architecture or what task we have. But in 11th, we see a transition. Now studies are more specific in nature. Some students are taught science, some students are taught arts based on their liking. So similarly in our network, after certain layer, features become task specific. Another thing is the kind of data we deal in CNNs. If we talk about tabular data, we have different types of variable like categorical, numerical, and date time. So if we build a model, we have to be cautious of data configuration, like how many variables were categorical, how many variables were numerical. Because of this, we cannot use same regression line for two different problems. On the other hand, if we talk about image data, It only contains pixel value and nothing else. And if you are thinking about the image dimensions, we can change the image dimension using different libraries in Python. So that's all from my side on transfer learning. I would suggest you to read some paper because now you have good idea about what is transfer learning. Next, we are going to talk about VGG network. But before that, we should be aware of ImageNet challenge because VGG network won that and came into light. So what is ImageNet? So ImageNet is formally a project aimed at labeling and categorizing images into almost 22 separate object categories for the purpose of computer vision research. However, when we hear the term ImageNet in the context of deep learning and convolutional neural network, we are likely to referring to the ImageNet Large-Scale Visual Recognition Challenge, or in short ILS-VRC. The goal of this image classification challenge is to train models that can correctly classify and input into 1000 separate object categories. So here models are trained on 1.2 million training images with another 50,000 images for validation, and finally we have 1 lakh images for testing. These 1000 image categories represent object classes that we encounter in our day-to-day life, such as species of dog, cats, various household objects, vehicle types, and many more. When it comes to image classification, the ImageNet challenge is the de facto benchmark for computer vision classification algorithm. And the leaderboard for this challenge has been dominated by convolutional neural networks and deep learning techniques since 2012. So this was an introduction on ImageNet. Now I would suggest you to visit the official website and read about it more. Next, we are going to talk about VGG16. Here, VGG stands for Visual Geometry Group, and 16 means it contains 16 layers. So, VGG is a convolutional neural network architecture. It was proposed by Karen and Andrew of Oxford Robotic Institute in the year of 2014. It was submitted to Large Scale Visual Recognition Challenge 2014, and the model achieved 92.7% top 5 test accuracy in ImageNet. Next, we have the architecture of VGGNet. And by this time, you should be able to build this VGG network using TensorFlow because we have seen in past how easy it is to build a model. One thing you will notice that this architecture does not contain any batch normalization layer. This is because batch normalization was developed in 2015. So let's talk about the architecture of VGG network. The first two layers are convolutional layer with 3 by 3 filters, and the first two layer uses 64 filters, and the filter are 3 by 3 with stride 1 throughout the network. After this, we have max pool of 2 by 2 size and stride 2 to compress the image. Similar pattern is repeated throughout the network, and the only difference is the number of filters. Finally, we have three fully connected layers with 4096 neurons in each layer. Sorry, I forgot to draw the last layer in the network. It will be softmax with 1000 neurons, which is our output layer that predicts which class an image belongs to. So that's all from my side. Next, we are going to implement transfer learning in TensorFlow, and we are going to use VGG network for that. So let's jump to the Google Colab. So I have already imported the essential libraries, and this time we are going to use cats and dog images dataset, and we are going to download it from external sources. So you can copy paste the link from the notebook I have provided. So the download has started. So let me show you the data. So click on this folder icon and scroll down. And here we have data in zip format. So copy the file path because we are going to extract this file. Next, we are going to create a dataset path variable to save the file path. Next, we are going to read the file. Since we need images that are inside this zip file, so we create zip object, and from zip file module, we call zip file. This will read and write the file based on our task. And this function takes few arguments. So first we pass the file path. Next we pass the mode. Since we only want to read the file, we pass R, where R stands for read. Next we have to extract the file. So for that we call zip object dot extract all function, and pass the path where we want to extract the file. So in this case, we want to extract the file into the current directory. So we pass this thing as a string. And once it's done extracting, we want to close this. So we call zip object dot close function. This is very similar to what we do in our PC when we have a zip file. We extract it. The only difference is we are coding now. So let me show you the file now. So here we have our file. So let me go to the main directory and show you in which folder it is. So click on the content and here we have our cats and dogs filter folder. And within this folder we have train and validation folder. I would suggest you to explore this folder for better understanding. Next we copy the file path because we want to read the images within this folder. And for that we are going to use OS library. Next we save this file path into a new variable called dataset underscore path underscore name. Next, we are going to create a training folder directory. So we create a new variable, train underscore dir. Then we call os.path.join. And this will join the path of main folder with its subfolder. So we pass the main folder path and next we pass the subfolder name. So in this case, it's going to be train. Similarly, we are going to create validation directory and the code is going to be very similar. So we copy paste the whole code and make few changes. First, we change the folder name. In this case, it's going to be validation. Next, we change the variable name to valid dir. So far, we have extracted our data and then we created the directory to access the data. Next, we are going to create data generator that we talked in previous video. So if you haven't seen that video, watch it after this video. So next we create training data generator variable and instantiate the generator. As of now, we only want to scale the dataset. So we pass rescale equals to 1 divided by 255. This will standardize the pixel value. Note that you can do many things, but as of now, we are just focusing on this thing. Next, we are going to do the same for validation set. So we copy paste the whole code and change the variable name. Next, we are going to pre-process the dataset using image data generator that we created. So for that, we create training generator variable. Then we call our image data generator. And from it, we call flow from directory method. So this takes few arguments. So first we pass the training directory that we created earlier using os.path.join method. Then we pass the target size or image size, which is 128 by 128. Next, we pass the batch size because doing it in one go is going to be computationally expensive. So we are going to scale the dataset in batches. Next is class mode, that is going to be binary because we have only two classes, namely cats and dogs. On the same line, we are going to pre-process the validation data. So we are going to copy paste the same code and make few changes. First, we change the variable name to validgen. Next, we change the directory to validation directory that we created earlier. So here you can see that it detected total 2000 images belonging to two class in training directory. And in the validation directory, it detected 1000 images. So finally, we are going to use transfer learning to build the model. So first we are going to create the body of the model we talked in lecture part and we are going to name it as base model. So tf.char-application and here we have the list of pre-trained models and we are going to use VGG19. Although we talked about VGG16 in the lecture, but we are going to use 19 because it's better than 16. Next, we pass the input shape, which is 128 by 128 by 3. This is basically our image size. Then we have weights, and we are going to use the weights of ImageNet challenge. So we pass ImageNet as a string. Next, we pass the include top equals to false. That is basically saying we don't want the prediction layer or the head of the network. Next, we have to freeze the layers so that while training, we don't end up training the layers of VGE network or pre-trained weights. So for layers in base model.layers, we set layers.trainable equals to false. So this will ensure that we do not train the layers. So let's run this cell. So the download has started. So this is basically downloading the pre-trained weights. Next, we are going to create the head of the model. So first we are going to add flattening layer to flatten the output from the base model. So model equals to flatten and then in bracket we pass base model dot output. Next, we are going to add some fully connected layer in the network. So model equals to dense and then we pass number of neurons. In this case, we are going to pass 1024 and the activation function is going to be ReLU. And to connect it with flatten layer, we simply write model in bracket. Next, we add another fully connected layer. So we just copy paste the whole code and change the number of neurons to 512. Finally, we create prediction layer or softmax layer. So prediction layer equals to dense, and then we pass two neurons. Since we have only two classes, next we set activation as softmax. And finally, to add the dense layers, we write model in bracket or parentheses. So now we have the body and the head. It's time to join these two things to have a fully connected network that can classify the images. So model equals to model, and we are going to pass the body and the head. So input equals to base model dot input, and then we have the head or output equals to prediction layer. And this will join these two things. So finally, we have created the model using transfer learning, and with few lines of code, we are able to develop a very deep network. So let me show you the summary of the model. So here we can see the different layers of the network, and this is by far the most complicated network we came across in this video series. We can see the number of parameters in each layer, and here we see that we have total 2 crore 89 lakhs 39,842 parameters, out of which we have to train 89 lakhs something parameters. This is because we have freeze the VGG layers. So when we say we freeze the layers, that means we freeze the weights. So during training, these weights won't be changed. And that is the whole purpose of transfer learning. Next, we compile the model, and this is very similar to what we have been doing. So let me do that. So we set optimizer equals to Adam, and there are many optimizer you can try. Next, we decide the loss, that is sparse categorical cross entropy. And then we decide the matrix, which is going to be sparse categorical accuracy. Next, we are going to fit the model. This time it will be different. So instead of calling model.fit, we are going to call model.fit generator. Then we pass our training generator. Next, we pass number of epochs. In this case, we are going to pass only 5 epochs. And then we pass our validation data, that is valid generator. So before running this, we are going to change the hardware accelerator to GPU. Because if you don't do this, it will take a lot of time to train the model. After changing the accelerator, we have to rerun the whole notebook since the notebook has been restarted. So the training has started and you may or may not be getting this warning. As of now, you can ignore this warning and we will be dealing this in future videos. So let me fast forward in time. So the model has finished training and you can see that without doing much, we are getting an accuracy of around 85. And if you recall from the previous video, we had to do a lot of things like data augmentation, batch normalization and whatnot to increase the accuracy from 60 to 85%. So while doing projects, it's always better to use the transfer learning and tune it rather than building the model from scratch. Because at the end of the day, our aim should be solving the problem in minimum time with good accuracy. So why to waste the time building model from the scratch? Next, we are going to plot the model history. So I'm going to copy paste the code. So here we have our graph and by now you should be able to understand these graphs. Next, I want to show you that without doing much, we can get promising result. For that, we are going to use MobileNet instead of VGG19. And this is quite a big network and I would suggest you to read about it after this video. So let's change the network and for that we just have to change the body of the network and everything else will be the same. So instead of VGG19 we write MobileNet. Next we rerun the whole notebook and make sure to check the summary of the new network. So the new model has started the training. So I'm going to fast forward in time. So here you see that we are getting accuracy of 95%, which is even better than the previous model. And if we build a network from the scratch and try different configuration, we may or may not be getting this kind of result. But surely we will end up investing too much of our time. So with right model, we can achieve promising result without putting much efforts. So that's all from my side on transfer learning. So if you are new to my YouTube channel, please do like and subscribe and press the bell icon for the future updates. So see you in the next video. Till then, bye, wear mask and stay safe.